Yo fam, welcome back. I'm Antoine and this is My Dharma Path where sutras swing and dharma flows like jazz. Today we're vibing with chapter 21 of the Lotus Sutra, Supernatural Powers of the Tathāgata. This one's a cosmic jam. The Buddha lights up the world, shakes the earth, and then hands the mic to the bodhisattvas. It's not just about miracles, it's about transmission. You've got the power, you've got the rhythm, you've got the Dharma. So take a breath, hit the bell, and chant it with me. Namo Sadharma Pundarika Sutra. Let's tune in and turn it up. That's the title of the sutra. Namo Sadharma Pundarika Sutra. Burton Watson translation, chapter 21. There's a link to the online version of this on the channel. Supernatural powers of the dust come one. At that time, the bodhisattvas and mahasattvas who had emerged from the earth, numerous as the dust particles of 1,000 worlds, all in the presence of the Buddha, single-mindedly pressed their palms together, gazed up in reverence at the face of the world-honored one, and said to the Buddha, "World-honored one, after the Buddha has entered extinction, in the lands where the emanations of the world-honored one are present, and in the place where the Buddha has passed into extinction, we will preach this sutra far and wide. Why? Because we ourselves wish to gain this great law, true and pure, to accept, uphold, read, recite, explain, preach, transcribe, and offer alms to it." At that time, the world-honored one, in the presence of Manjushri and the other immeasurable hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, millions of bodhisattvas and mahasattvas, who from of old had dwelled in the Saha world, as well as the monks, nuns, laymen, laywomen, heavenly beings, dragons, yakshas, Gandharvas, Asuras, Garudas, Kimnaras, Mahuragas, human and non-human beings. Before all these, he displayed his great supernatural powers. He extended his long, broad tongue upward till it reached the Brahma heaven, and from his pores he emitted immeasurable countless beams of light that illuminated all the worlds in the 10 directions. Let's talk about some of the beings in the 21st chapter, Yakshas and Garudas.
You set the stage well, Antoine. In Buddhist mythology, Yakshas are nature spirits, often depicted as guardians of the natural treasures hidden in the earth and tree roots. They can be benevolent or mischievous, often acting as protectors of the Dharma. Garudas, on the other hand, are mythical birds representing great power and speed, often enemies of the snakes or nagas. Both play symbolic roles in the sutra, embodying elements of the natural and spiritual worlds. Keep the rhythm going.
What is a bodhisattva and a mahasatva?
Bodhisattvas are beings on the path to Buddhahood, committed to achieving enlightenment, not just for themselves, but for all sentient beings. They're marked by deep compassion and the vow to save others. Mahasattvas, a term often used interchangeably, refers to great bodhisattvas, notable for their wisdom and virtue. They're the heroes of the Mahayana Buddhist path, embodying the ultimate aspiration for enlightenment. Keep those questions coming.
Can you stand by? I'm going to go on reading.
Absolutely. Take your time, Antoine. I'm here whenever you're ready to continue.
Other Buddhas seated on lion seats underneath the numerous jeweled trees did likewise, extending their long broad tongues and emitting immeasurable beams of light, while Shakyamuni Buddha and the other Buddhas beneath the jeweled trees thus displayed their supernatural powers. They did so for fully 100,000 years. After that, they drew in their tongues again, coughed in unison, and all together snapped their fingers. The sounds made by these two actions filled all the Buddha worlds in the 10 directions, and the earth and all of them quaked and trembled in 6 different ways. The living beings in their midst, the heavenly beings, dragons, yakshas, Gandharvas, Asuras, Garudas, Kimnaras, Maharagas, human and non-human beings, thanks to the Buddha's supernatural powers. Also in the Saha world, the immeasurable, boundless hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, millions of Buddhas seated on lion seats under the numerous jeweled trees, and also saw Shakyamuni Buddha and many treasures thus come seated together on a lion seat in the treasure tower. Moreover, they saw immeasurable, boundless hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, millions of bodhisattvas and mahasattvas and the 4 kinds of believers who reverently surrounded Shakyamuni Buddha. When they had seen these things, they were all filled with great joy, having gained what they had never had before. At that time, the heavenly beings in the midst of the sky cried out with loud voices, saying, "Beyond these immeasurable, boundless hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, millions of Ashmaka worlds, there is a land named Saha, and in it a Buddha named Shakyamuni. Now, for the sake of the bodhisattvas and mahasattvas, he is preaching a sutra of the great vehicle called the Lotus of the Wonderful Law, a law to instruct the bodhisattvas, one that is guarded and kept in mind by the Buddhas. You must respond with joy from the depths of your heart, and also offer obeisance and alms to Shakyamuni Buddha." What is the law? What is the wonderful law and the law discussed in the 21st chapter?
The wonderful law in the Lotus Sutra refers to the ultimate truth and profound teachings of Buddhism, which lead to enlightenment. It's described as wonderful because it transcends ordinary understanding. The lotus symbolizes purity and the unfolding of the enlightened mind. It's a key Mahayana text emphasizing the potential for all beings to achieve Buddhahood. Want to dive deeper into any particular aspect?
I want to go on reading. When the various living beings heard the voices in the sky, they pressed their palms together, faced the Saha world, and spoke these words, "Hail Shakyamuni Buddha! Hail Shakyamuni Buddha!" They took different kinds of flowers, incense, necklaces, banners, and canopies, as well as the ornaments, rare jewels, and other wonderful articles that adorn their persons, and all together scattered them far off in the direction of the Saha world. The objects thus scattered poured in from the 10 directions like clouds, gathering together. Then they changed into a jeweled curtain that completely covered the area where the Buddhas were. At that time, the worlds in the 10 directions were opened up so that there was unobstructed passage from one to the other, and they were like a single Buddha land. Let me stop there. What is a lion seat? What's a lion seat?
In Buddhist symbolism, a lion seat represents a throne or elevated platform from which the Buddha or a bodhisattva teaches. It's called a lion seat to denote the authority and confidence in their teachings, similar to the lion status as king of the jungle. Think of it as a metaphor for the powerful and unshakable nature of the Dharma being expounded.
Who is Buddha superior practices?
Bodhisattva superior practices is a central figure in the Lotus Sutra, particularly in the 21st chapter. This bodhisattva is tasked with upholding and spreading the teachings of the Lotus Sutra, embodying the virtues of wisdom, courage, and compassion. Along with 3 other bodhisattvas, superior conduct, boundless conduct, and firmly established conduct, they represent the highest qualities needed to propagate the Dharma. These figures symbolize emphasize the ideal qualities and practices for those devoted to the Buddhist path, particularly in the context of the Lotus Sutra's teachings.
At that time, the Buddha spoke to superior practices and the others in the great assembly of bodhisattvas, saying, the supernatural powers of the Buddhas, as you have seen, are immeasurable, boundless, inconceivable. If in the process of entrusting this sutra to others, I were to employ these supernatural powers for immeasurable, boundless, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, millions of Ashmaka kalpas to describe the benefits of the sutra, I could never finish doing so. To put it briefly, all the doctrines possessed by the thus come one, all the freely exercised supernatural powers of the thus come one, the storehouse of all the secret essentials of the thus come one, all the most profound matters of the thus come one, all these are proclaimed, revealed, and clearly expounded in this sutra. For this reason, after the thus come one has entered extinction, you must single-mindedly accept, uphold, read, recite, explain, preach, and transcribe it, and practice it as directed. In any of the various lands, wherever there are those who accept, uphold, read, recite, explain, preach, transcribe, or practice it as directed, or wherever the sutra rolls are preserved, whether in a garden, a forest, beneath a tree, in monks' quarters, in the lodgings of white-robed laymen, in palaces, or in mountain valleys, or the wide wilderness. In all these places, one should erect towers and offer alms. Why? Because you should understand that such spots are places of religious practice, and such places have the Buddhas gained entrusts, and bodhi. In such places have the Buddhas turned the wheel of the law, and such places have the Buddhas entered parinirvana. What is entrusts, and bodhi, and how is that different from nirvana?
Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi means unsurpassed, perfect enlightenment. It's the ultimate state of awakening and understanding, where a Buddha fully comprehends the true nature of all things. Nirvana, on the other hand, is the liberation from suffering and the cycle of rebirth. While nirvana can be achieved by anyone who follows the Buddhist path, Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi is the specific enlightenment attained by a Buddha. What sparked your curiosity about these concepts?
What's the difference between prose and verse form?
Prose is written or spoken language in its ordinary form, without metrical structure, such as essays, articles, and novels. Verse, on the other hand, is a form of language that has a rhythmic or metrical structure, like poetry or songs. Verse often uses meter, rhyme, and other poetic devices to create a specific rhythm or effect. So prose is more about straightforward communication, while verse emphasizes artistic expression. What got you interested in the difference between prose and verse?
Okay, so I'm going to read the verse form, which is the same thing I just read, but I read the prose. At that time, the world-honored one, wishing to state his meaning, once more spoke in verse form, saying, the Buddhas, Savior of the world, abide in their great transcendental powers, and in order to please living beings, they display immeasurable supernatural powers. Their tongues reach to the Brahma heaven, their bodies emit countless beams of light. For the sake of those who seek the Buddha way, they manifest these things that are rarely seen. The sound of the Buddhas coughing, the sound of them snapping their fingers, is heard throughout the lands in the 10 directions, and the earth in all those lands moves in 6 ways. Because after the Buddha has passed into extinction, there will be those who can uphold this sutra. The Buddhas are all delighted and manifest immeasurable supernatural powers. Because they wish to entrust the sutra, they praise and extol the person who accepts and upholds it. And though they should do so for immeasurable kalpas, they could never exhaust their praises. The benefits gained by such a person are boundless and inexhaustible, like the vast sky in the 10 directions, that no one can set a limit to. One who can uphold the sutra as an effect already seen me, and likewise has seen many treasures Buddha, and the Buddhas that are emanations of my body, and he also sees me today. As I teach and convert the bodhisattvas, one can uphold this sutra, causes me and my emanations and many treasures Buddha, who has already entered extinction, all to be filled with joy. The Buddhas who are present in the 10 directions and those of the past and future ages, he will see them too, offer alms to them and cause them to be filled with joy. The secret essentials of the law gained by the Buddhas who sat in the place of practice, and one who can uphold the sutra will gain them too before long. One who can uphold the sutra will delight in endlessly expounding the principles of the various doctrines and their names and phrases, like a wind in the open sky, moving everywhere without hindrance or block. After the dust come one has passed into extinction, this person will know the sutras preached by the Buddha, their causes and conditions, and their proper sequence, and will preach them truthfully in accordance with principle. As the light of the sun and moon can banish all obscurity and gloom, so this person, as he passes through the world, can wipe out the darkness of living beings, causing immeasurable numbers of bodhisattvas in the end to dwell in the single vehicle. Therefore, a person of wisdom, hearing how keen are the benefits to be gained after I have passed into extinction, should accept and uphold this sutra. Such a person assuredly and without doubt will attain the Buddha way. What does it mean to attain the Buddha way?
Attaining the Buddha way means reaching a state of enlightenment where one understands the true nature of reality, transcends suffering, and embodies compassion and wisdom. It's the ultimate goal in Buddhism, leading to liberation from the cycle of birth and death. This state is characterized by profound insight, inner peace, and a deep connection with all beings. It's not just about personal enlightenment, but also about helping others on their spiritual paths. What sparked your interest in this concept?
All right, this chapter 21. The Buddha showed us the light, shook the ground, and passed the sutra to the crew. Now it's on us. You're the teacher, you're the transmitter, you're the groove. Before you roll out, hit that bell one more time, let it echo through your space, and chant it with me. Namo Dharma Pundarika Sutra. That's the title, that's the rhythm, that's the path. This is My Dharma Path. I'm Antoine. Thanks for walking with me. Until next time, keep your light radiant, your best sacred, and your blessings bright.